Hey, Sami, good to see you again.
You too.
So I wanted to ask like a two-parter about sort of what yesterday meant to you as a first-time mother celebrating Mother's Day, but also in general, what do you want your son Nash to gain from watching you play?
Well, to your first question, it was really special. Kate and I have spent a fair amount of time trying to fall pregnant. So it was that much more special knowing kind of the hardship we'd faced just in the lead up to it and just how badly, we wanted Nash. So to have him now, to get to celebrate him as moms means so much. We don't take that for granted. We know there are lots of people that are, that struggle with that and continue to. So it's incredibly special that we were able to do that. We feel very fortunate. I think, I want to be, I want Nash to know I pursued my dreams. I want Nash to know that I've did everything I could to, to follow through with them. And I think it's a pretty incredible thing what Kate is doing as well and her sacrifices for us. So I think seeing that, seeing what that looks like, what a partnership really looks like is a really great example for him. But knowing that if you follow your dreams and if you put the work in, there's nothing you can't do. I think that's hopefully a takeaway for Nash moving forward.
Beautiful. And I want to ask you about mental health awareness because that seems to be a very important thing on this team. Dee Dee mentioned that when she first onboarded with the team that was a huge focus. So can you take us through sort of how this team really takes mental health seriously, and what's your advice to Liberty fans who might be struggling if they are?
I think we definitely have resources offered to us, which is obviously huge. And I don't know that every league, organization, all of that does that. So we have the means if you need help to get help, and it's encouraged, it's supported here. If there's anything you need in terms of that, it's not just the basketball, it's not just the physical, the mental side of it's incredibly important. So yeah, that's absolutely something that's nurtured here as well, which is great because sports, as you know, can be there can be that mental side of it that is really stressful and people can struggle with that. So I think that's great. I think to anyone, to our fans, to anyone who would be listening, don't be afraid to ask for help. That actually takes an incredible amount of strength to ask for help. So I think if you need it, find someone that you trust, ask for help. And yeah, just don't be afraid of that. There's people in your corner.
Thanks so much, Sami.
Thank you.
Sarah Valenzuela.
Hey, Sami. Sarah Valenzuela from the New York Daily News. It's a pleasure to officially meet you. Just going back to you being a first-time mom, with the new CBA, I was just wondering if there has been anything you've been able to benefit from just in terms of like childcare. I know it's kind of early, the season hasn't really started and some things might be different with COVID, but how has the league made it sort of easier to be a mom, be a working mom?
Yeah, there's definitely the childcare component of it. And then obviously it can be, childcare, or it can be your partner, I think, can be included in that instead. So obviously I can travel with Kate and she can be, I think, quote unquote, the childcare. So she can come with on trips. You get a 2-bedroom apartment. There are things like that are really nice features for you if you are a parent and a mom, that makes it a little bit easier. I think, being on the road, obviously, if you can have that childcare, that partner travel with you and help you and look after your baby while you're playing, that helps. So yeah, it's still a little bit early. Like I'm not 100% sure of all of the things. It's something that I'll need to continue to look into, but so far everything that has been provided has been incredibly great.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Miles Ehrlich.
Hi, Sami. Miles Ehrlich with Nets Republic, Winsider, and Queen Ballers Club. I'm actually going to ask you a question that we typically ask on our Women's Basketball Weekly chat on Clubhouse.
Okay.
And it's, what was your welcome to the WNBA moment? Whether it was a matchup with a certain player, an experience on the court, something like that. What was that moment that you felt like you were really a part of the league for the first time?
I would say it was training camp, honestly. Coming into, it was at the Storm, obviously, at that time 4 years ago, and I would say the level of focus, intensity, everything just from day one at camp there was like a wake up call for me. And it was physical. It was, it was with the actual team itself. It was with practice players, the guys that came in, but everything. It was just, meant like you had to be tuned in. You had to be sharp. You couldn't make mistakes. You had to, to just really be sharp. And I think for me, that was like this is it. This is what it's about. And it's not wait for the league, for the season to start, for the games to start. It's camp, it's the prep, it's all of those things that go into it. And I think that's why it's the best league in the world, why it's the toughest. But for me, it was like day one at camp, like Sue Bird, Stewie, all of those players that are there, and they want to win and they want to get better, and they get that it starts straight away.
Awesome. And you had such an unconventional journey to get to that point, to that training camp. So as opposed to that, now you're on a guaranteed deal for the first time. How has that changed your approach at all? Or is it still, now, everything that it takes in order to be, to make this team and to stay on the roster and to kind of pay it forward for these rookies that don't have that kind of job security right now, since you've had those experiences?
Yeah, it definitely hasn't changed my approach, but I do think I am more cognizant of, being a tone setter, I suppose, with those things, and understanding that like now it's my job to be the ones that, like, when people come into camp, whether it's rookies or other players, they understand the level, the expectation, how hard it is to make a team and what it takes day in and day out to prepare for an upcoming season. So I take that kind of responsibility and accountability and approach to it, but I still very much feel like I need to bring those things and to do those things every day, and guaranteed contract or not, like, I want to get better and I want to make sure that I'm, the best version of myself for this group.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Last question, Christina Williams.
Hey, Sami, it's Christina Williams with Girls Talk Sports TV. My question for you is, recently we've seen a surge in Australian players coming over to play for the WNBA. What does that say about, the pathways to professional basketball with players coming over from Australia?
Yeah, I think it speaks to the quality of, the talent over in Australia. That league, the WNBL over there, produces a lot of tremendous players. And I think it's just that pathway of basketball development over there. It's a little bit different than it is in the States. It's not like high school hoops and AAU. They have, national team stuff and state stuff. And it's a bit, they're playing in tough competitions against older players at a younger age, whether it's in these semi-professional SBL leagues or, as development players in that WNBL as well. So I think there is a fantastic amount of talent over there. And I think you'll continue to see that. Like, it's, Ezzy and Shyla and some of these players, obviously, like there's Liz and there's Becca Allen and Steph Talbot and that Leilani. It's endless with sort of some of these vets. But I think there's a wealth of fresh talent that's coming up as well. And I think you'll continue to see, Australian names.
Can I just follow that up with, obviously, it's the 25th anniversary season for the WNBA. Who did you look up to coming up?
Diana. Yeah, it was Dee for sure. I think, being a wing player, being a quote unquote shooter, someone that, wanted to make it in the league in that position, that to me, she was always the best. Her swag, the passion and fire she played with. And then, she was just so good. So she was really fun to watch. I watched her a little bit at UConn, but primarily once she was in the league. And yeah, I mean, that's who I wanted to be. That's the style of player I wanted to match.
Thank you so much. Best of luck this season.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Sami. Next, we have Lucia Clarendon.